Marcus, put her there, man.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to the kitchen.
Thank you.
This is like the miniature food network going on. I'm excited. I've heard about your Philly frittata.
The word's getting out.
The word is getting out.
It is out there for sure.
The recipe kind of changes a little bit on a weekly basis.
Yeah, the recipes really depends on what shows up in our veggie box that we get every week.
Okay. All right, guys. If you don't make this, you ain't got nada. Come right back for the Philly frittata. All right, Marcus, run us through it, man. How do we do this? I got this cast iron. Should we put the heat on that?
We should probably put the heat on that.
Get that going. Okay.
Yeah, we always, anytime I have access to a cast iron to make this, it's always, for me, it works best.
Yeah.
Just like holds a lot more heat, and it's gonna help this thing cook evenly when we actually get it in the oven.
Awesome.
But yeah, usually starting off with just like, a meat of choice. So this week we're doing ground beef, but I've done with turkey, I've done with pork, done with bacon, and that's usually what I start at the base of the frittata, just to get some extra protein, and then also the fat that comes from that is going to be what we end up cooking the vegetables in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So get that going, and then eggs. You ultimately use 12 eggs. Is that kind of the standard?
Yeah, I mean, I've been using a recipe that's like 12 ounces of meat, 12 eggs, portioned out into like 6 different portions. So each one is about 2 ounces of meat, 2 eggs.
Okay.
But you can make this bigger or smaller depending on how many people you're trying to feed. This is usually for me, and it lasts me the whole week. But if I was going to make one for like my wife too, then probably add some more eggs.
A little bit. Okay.
And I'll usually put a little bit of salt and pepper on the
season
meat.
that.
Yeah.
Then you whip these up. Is that?
Yeah, whip those up. I've never been a fan of putting like milk or cream in my eggs. I know some people like that, but I don't know. I find this to be easy, and I'm not. We don't do a ton of dairy in my family, so keeping milk out of the eggs is fine. I love how big this pan is, and it's square.
It's like
I've never seen a square cast iron.
It's from Camp Chef, and they have the lid to it is actually a grill pan. Right? So you can put a lid on there, and then if you flip it over, it's got the grill marks inside. It's a great thing. They use it a lot for like almost like a Dutch oven.
Yeah.
So if you were to do that in the oven, think about that top plate being hot and like penetrating deep down, how fat, would just cook that much faster and more evenly.
I mean, I love the size of this too. It's like a ton of surface area to get this all evenly cooked.
Eggs are good. And then basil, you said you like to put like a fresh herb in each.
Yeah,
week?
every week. Lately it's been basil, but a little fresh herb, like just at the end to make sure that it doesn't get too wilted inside the eggs when you're like whipping it up and mixing this together, but adds a little freshness for.
And you just sprinkle it on the top when.
Yeah, usually a little chop to it, and then sprinkle it on the top after all the other ingredients are in there and the eggs are in there, and then that just goes in the oven, and so it's like the first hit is like a little fresh herb on the top.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
To be honest, with herbs, for me, it like started with I don't know, it was like 3 years ago we started to get into like local farmers veggie boxes that they were bringing to our gym and giving to our members. So it was like $20, for the week, and people were getting these like awesome values on really fresh,
produce.
Fresh produce that we were getting at the farmers market anyway. Anyway, they started putting all these herbs in the box, and I was like, I don't usually cook with fresh herbs. So the first season we had it was like cilantro all the time. It's like, what am I going to do with cilantro? So we started to make a cilantro pesto with it, and then then we started finding other ways to like throw these herbs into different dishes that we were doing. So frittata made a ton of sense.
Yeah, like it's almost like you're forced into the Iron Chef type situation, right? Like each week you open your box and you got kohlrabi in there, and you're like, well, what am I gonna do with this?
I mean, for me, it's like without having the variety that's getting like placed in front of me in a box that I don't really have a lot of control over. I would probably stick to the same
stuff.
5 things every week, and this is just forcing me to have more variety. So I love it.
Cool. What are you thinking on that?
I'm thinking it's getting pretty close. There's a little bit, maybe yeah, we're gonna take this beef out and put it aside for a minute.
Grab one. Not a lot of fat came out of that, huh?
No, so we'll probably put a little bit of olive oil in just for the mushrooms so that they're cooked in something, some fat. But yeah, this is pretty lean.
Yeah, this is like a 92.8. That's what we use in our meals.
That's usually what we end up buying too. Occasionally it's 85%, but I do a pretty good job of like tracking kind of rough quantities of what I'm having every week.
Yeah.
But I don't get into like such detail that I'm worried
Putting
about
everything
85
in there.
versus 92%. So yeah, then a little bit. I think the mushrooms would definitely be next on the list.
Toss those in there.
Yeah.
Maybe turn that down just a hair. Okay, shrooms are in.
Yep, and a little more salt and pepper.
Now, what do you want? Should I kind of? Do you know the chiffonade? Do you know that cut?
Oh, I know it. I mean, I'd love to see you do it.
Some of our stuff. So what? How much do you think this is the right amount of basil? Is this too much? Or
I think that looks perfect.
it'll work, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Thai basil, so it's a little bit different. But when you get the other stuff, the more traditional Italian basil, it doesn't have like as sharp of a point. You'll always have a couple leaves that are way bigger. You want to use those kind of as a base, and then you build this up, and you can kind of roll it up like something like that.
Yep.
And then hold it like this. And that's a good cut for doing with leafy things, lettuce, cabbage, things along those lines. And you don't have to do that. You can also, just bunch it and go. It's just a good kind of entry level way to give the chiffonade a go. You know what I'm saying? All right, Marcus, what do we got? Mushrooms are ready?
Yeah, mushrooms are ready. For me, it's like important to make sure that they cook out as much water
Moisture.
as possible. Moisture, because if this is gonna last me for like 5 days, if it's like wet inside, it's just not gonna sit well in the fridge.
Yeah.
But those look good.
Okay.
So next we'll put some squash in there.
You want to guide me on how?
Yeah, why don't we
much
do like two, maybe 3 big handfuls of that? Looks good.
This is just peeled and roasted butternut squash.
Yeah, looks great.
To help it. If we went with raw, it probably
would take.
cook. It wouldn't be done.
Yeah, not evenly. And then the beef can go back in too. And because this is going to end up being like, portioned out for me for the week, I like to try and do my best to get everything distributed evenly, so that I'm not having, one slice that's got 5
all
ounces
squash.
all squash and all beef in another one. But that looks pretty good. Yeah, then probably put like a layer of arugula on top. I'll try that.
Should be that guy.
And then the trick is to try and get these eggs to pour in there evenly.
Nice work,
Yeah.
Marcus. That was pro.
And then basil right on
or
top.
what?
Yeah, basil right on top. Take a little
Go
bit of
ahead.
that. And I might put a little bit more of this on top.
Salted
Just a touch more
pepper.
pepper. That's
In
it.
the oven.
And then right into the oven.
Okay. We'll cut the heat. We're gonna throw this in the oven, guys, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, cool.
Nice work. Philly frittata coming in hotter. All right, there we are.
Nice.
How's that?
Looks just about right.
Is that what it looks like when you do it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every week the ingredients change a little bit. So, on a week like this where we're using arugula, it kind of comes out with a lot of green on the top and it's, crispy like that. But other weeks it might look a little different, but that looks great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, show us how you do it then. We're going for 6 portions. Is that?
Yeah, so I do my best to try and
Just eyeball it.
right down the middle. And then,
Ooh.
perfect.
Beautiful.
Pop
Yeah.
right out.
I like that.
I like it.
Nice work, Marcus.
Put one of these into each
Tray
of
'em up.
these. Yeah. It's the frittata that started the revolution, the social media revolution. I swear I get, no joke, like when I first started posting about these, 30 DMs a week of people with their like pictures of the frittatas that they made. And we recently started putting out a recipe each week on our email list, and they're just flooding now. It's like always coming through.
Cool, Marcus. Put it there, man.
Yeah, we did it.
I appreciate you sharing this.
Yeah, thanks for letting it come to life.
6 portions. Like, I would say this is world-class stuff right here. Like, if this were on a buffet, you probably want to stay.
Totally want to stay.
You want to walk out. So you guys, get in the kitchen, give this one a go. You won't be disappointed. And when you cook it, remember to hashtag
Philly Frittata.